What up, Jennifer?
Hi, Jenny.
Jen, how was Michigan and Ohio State?
Very uneventful, very casual, very chill, incredibly low key.
Remember when we laughed about Michigan only having like 32 passing yards earlier this year? We were like, which was your favorite passing? I think that was an Alex Orji game. Well, this one was somehow more passing yards technically, but man, in a winning effort. How about that?
It was just funniest case scenario the entire way around. I think the only thing that could have been funnier is like if Michigan had like 400 passing yards and randomly it was just like, we were saving them. Gotcha.
That actually would be really funny. But no, instead it was 9 completions, 62 yards for Davis Warren, and a winning victory over the Buckeyes.
Pretty good. It was funny when it happened. It was funny when Rose got pepper sprayed. It was. And then going back and like just re-looking over the stats after this game happened made everything funnier because it's just like, how did you manage to blow this? How did you manage to do literally nothing? It's the entire time watching that game, it felt very much like to me that Ohio State went in with the mindset of we're just more talented than you and that is why we will win. Where like Michigan plays a very specific brand of football and they've had to rely on that this season more than ever before. So you knew exactly what they were going to do. There was never a question. The only question was they're missing their best player on offense and defense, which you think would help your case. It did not. And then you just lost. You didn't plan for Michigan at all. You said, we are $20 million. The whole thing, I think, is just one of the biggest like coaching meltdowns I've ever seen or failures I've ever seen. I don't care what anybody says. Like, coach can't make the player make a field goal. Shut up. You can prepare for Michigan. You know what they're going to do. I knew what they were going to do. How did you not know?
Ryan Day looked like he had seen several ghosts. Him mouthing the word, what happened, as the fight was sort of breaking up at the end of the game. By the way, Lucy, I don't know about you, but I was sobbing my eyes out. I was screaming. I was crying. I was kicking my feet because flag planting, it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so terrible. It just made me want to throw up and puke everywhere. It's so bad. It's so terrible. Please, no more.
It's almost as bad as the upside down hand signs.
Oh my God. Oh, I saw Riley Leonard do the upside down fight on for the USC upset. And I said, you, sir, get off the Notre Dame football. You are too disrespectful. Get off this football team right now. You do not belong in the gold and blue.
I hope they revoked a scholarship. I do.
They took away all his NIL money. They said, give us that Roback hoodie back. You can't have that anymore.
Sorry.
Because
you're not in these commercials anymore.
It's disgusting. Don't do upside down hand signals and definitely don't do flag planting and also don't do the gator chop over your knee if you beat Florida. It's ruining the game.
Oh my God. We should expect more from all of these fresh out of high school kids. We should.
And definitely we should have expected more from Ryan Day in this game.
Yeah, that one. Oh my God.
Lucy, okay, you know what I thought about on Saturday? We had a take last season, I want to say early in the season, perhaps, about Ryan Day, where we were like, this is bad. He's not long for this world. Ohio State fans, like, they're winning. He's got a tremendous winning record. Like, he's only lost like a couple handfuls of games in college football since he took over as the head coach at Ohio State. But Ohio State fans are not happy. And it got posted on social media, and a ton of Ohio State fans got really mad at us. And they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. We love Ryan Day. He's the best coach ever, blah, 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 blah. I feel vindicated today. Maybe we were a year early on our take, but Ohio State fans are going to make the playoff, and they're going to be pissed about it because they lost this game.
Yeah, that's like the internet reaction we got, I thought was crazy because like my entire job is going out to Ohio State games every once in a while and asking them, do they hate Ryan Day? And usually the answer is like, yeah, a little bit. So like I'm talking to the field, I'm out direct with the source.
You're with the people. It's just one of those. You know what the people want. Yeah.
And I will say, I went into this game. This is the first game at Ohio State we had ever covered. I was very nervous because I've heard just like not pleasant things about Ohio State. And for some reason, Iowa and Ohio State don't tend to play very often. So I've actually never been to a game there. So I've like avoided most of it. They were incredibly kind, welcoming and friendly people, like genuinely. And we had someone like with us, like Michigan producer, like he had stuff on, which like I told him not to wear, his own fault.
Harry,
and they were still. Yeah, they were still very nice to him. So like I think just the people online are very irrational, but I think it's one of those things where like they always, they do the same hype video every year before the game, and it's a fan being like, "We don't care if we go 1-11 unless that one is against Michigan." Like they always have that like
Which is not
stupid
true. I'm
liner and stuff,
sorry.
which is not true at all. But it is like a different sort of thing. This is a job that requires you win that game, and you haven't won that game. And like whatever, the last 3 years, not great. This year, devastatingly embarrassing and just honestly inexcusable because you had no plan in place for what Michigan was going to do when everyone on the planet knew what Michigan was going to do.
Facts. And yeah, you guys would be mad if you lost to Akron. Don't lie. You would be mad if you started the season 0-1 against Akron and then lost to Western Michigan. Don't lie about that. But yeah, this is like an all-time weirdest case scenario for Ohio State, and only something that could happen this year with the 12-team playoff, because this game kicked them out of the Big Ten championship. Penn State is now going to play Oregon, but Ohio State, they have 2 losses, one to Michigan and one to Oregon, who's probably going to be, if they win this weekend, the number 1 seed in the playoffs. And I don't know, Ohio State's fine. They might win a playoff game. They might win a couple playoff games. Taylor's shaking his head no, but I think they have a good team. I think that I'll go back for a second and say, I think every team in the field right now is capable of winning at least a playoff game. Not that they all will, but they are all capable of doing it, which is why it's a great field this year. I know maybe you're giving me side eye because of like UNLV or Boise or.
Oh no, that wasn't actually the one I'm doing it for. I'm not going to say it because their fans are going to be really mad. But you know who I'm talking about.
Penn State, obviously.
Yeah. I didn't say it. You said it. You said it.
I think even Penn State's. I shouldn't say even Penn State. I think Penn State's capable of winning a playoff game. Anyways, I digress. My point is, Ohio State's still going to make the playoff. They still have a chance of winning a national championship. This didn't end their season like it has in years past, but everyone's still super unhappy, and you get the added bonus of the entire world watching you guys fight about this flag after the game. Michigan's star running back saying, "Learn how to lose," and Gus Johnson narrating it like it was a funeral. And it was just the perfect start to rivalry weekend.
My favorite part about like the Gus Johnson being like, nobody wants to see this, is the last 3 hours he was like, these people hate each other more than anything.
The camera's like zooming in.
Yeah. If murder was legal, they would have done it by now. Like, just crazy. Yeah, I think this is embarrassing. I would be so mad if I was an Ohio State fan. I think it helps you in a sneaky little weird way where now you're avoiding playing Oregon, and you're probably going to get a home playoff game. Still, just like, you have to beat that Michigan team, man. Washington did it. You could do it. I mean, I guess you can't do it.
It was a terrible scene for college football as I walked closer to my television to see it up close. I did also rewind on several of the videos. I want to say, in all seriousness, the police should not be pepper spraying anyone. Like, I can't believe that we have to say that, but like, everyone that's mad at the college football players involved in all these different flag planting things, I'm sorry, the people most at fault this weekend are the police officers pepper spraying college football players. Like, that's freaking crazy. That's insane.
No one has had that like conversation. There was a point on the show earlier this week where I had to be like, by the way, this is the police's fault, right? Like, the police pulled out the pepper spray, and at the point they did it was late enough in the fight where things had sort of slowed down. It was a very unnecessary use of pepper spray, and like there were 1,000,010 flag planting incidents this weekend, 1,000,010 fights, and pepper spray was not used in any of the other ones.
No, it's absurd.
That was the problem.
That's the only serious thing I'll say on the subject. Like, yeah, obviously you don't want to see players like getting fights and stuff like that. Like, that stinks, but everyone wanted to see it. Like, you can't pretend like that, like the rivalry aspect. No one got hurt except for the police officers who actually hurt people. They
and Rose. And Rose got hurt.
Because of the police officers.
Because of the police officers. Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. Maybe that take is terrible. Maybe it'll age poorly.
It's a great take.
Anyways, yeah. It just, the noon game slapped, and it was so great.
It's good.
And I'm glad you got to be there to see a whole 23 points.
Look.
It's like being an Iowa
23 points. Speaking of 13 points, which Ohio State didn't reach, Iowa did. Cade McNamara entered the transfer portal. It's a portal season. I did not know that Cade McNamara entered the portal until I opened up my doc to do prep for this show. And it was Cade McNamara entered the portal. And if I said I was sad, that would be a lie. I would not be telling the truth if I said that.
Speaking of transfer quarterbacks, was this the best possible weekend ever for Kyle McCord?
Oh yeah, great weekend for him. Just to look back and be like losers. And he played last year. There was the late pick in that game against Michigan, but he played decently last year. Like he didn't struggle against Michigan. I think Will Howard played a lot worse this year than McCord did last year.
Well, we're presented by Cheez-It. How about that, Lucy? This week we are feeling
Heck
cheesiest
yeah.
with Cheez-It, and our little rivalry weekend recap is presented by Cheez-It. I can't wait for the Cheez-It Bowl. We're almost there. We're almost at bowl season. It's going to be so much fun. With that Syracuse-Miami game, honestly, I am so bummed I didn't get to watch it live. I had a sort of split screen thing going on with that in Notre Dame USC, but as Notre Dame USC entered the third quarter, I said, sorry, Miami and Syracuse. Whatever happens, I won't be able to watch this right now because I got to focus in on my alma mater, which is trying to book its ticket to the playoff, which, by the way, they don't have to book a ticket because they're probably going to host a game. I had to book a ticket. I will be going to that game. But
let's go.
Mario Cristobal, the decision at the end of the game to kick the field goal, what was your reaction to finding that out?
We were able to watch part of the game. We were getting pepper spray out of Rose's eye for the first half, so that made things a little bit difficult.
Oh.
Thanks, Rose.
I'm not laughing at Rose, by the way. I'm laughing at Danny GQ saying that kicking the field goal made no effing sense. Sorry for outing your take, Danny GQ, Miami U fan. Go ahead, Lucy.
It was. I was able to watch the end of the game to say, okay, we're going to kick the field goal. We're going to put the effort. We're going to put our faith in our defense, which is just surrender to 21-point lead when we have potentially the best player in college football. We have a Heisman, candidate in Cam Ward. Yeah, I'm going to trust my defense in that situation. No. That's stupid. That was dumb. That was one, I don't blame the entire loss on that decision. You had a 21-point lead at Syracuse and you blew it, and you're supposed to be a top 10 team in the country. I don't feel bad for you at all. Figure it out. Don't do that. But to put your faith in the side of the ball that has consistently let you down the entire season, that has just collapsed internally throughout this game, and to not trust the one player who has gotten you out of every awful situation your defense has put you in this entire season is just what do you mean? Why are you not using any of the context clues to help you?
Yeah, I thought it was very silly when I found out about it. I kind of was like, oh, well, they're not going to make the playoff then. And then after 12 hours, I was like, maybe they are going to make the playoff. And then after 48 more hours, I was like, no, they're not going to make the playoff. We are officially recording this after the committee has put out their rankings. And Miami, it does not appear that they are going to make it, Lucy, which I think you just sort of correctly said, yeah, you probably shouldn't make it after that happens. And I think I tend to agree with you, even though all the Miami fans are already mad at us for that.
They were mad before we started talking. It really wasn't going to make a difference. The most fun, sneaky game of the weekend, Georgia Tech.
It was awesome until the end. And then I don't know about you, but the ending made me mad. Not because of the overtime format. I don't really mind the 2-point shootout because most games aren't going to go to 8 overtime. So we'll see it once every 2 years. We saw it in that Illinois game that was epic, for lack of a better term. It was awesome. We saw it in this one, but it doesn't happen that often. But it also doesn't happen when it does happen. It's because neither team can score from the 2-yard line, which is frustrating to watch. And then every time Kirby called the timeout, I was like, I want to go to bed. Let me go to bed. Stop letting him call timeouts every time Georgia Tech lines up so that he can see what play they're about to run. I am furious.
Your reaction when you said it's frustrating to watch teams don't score from the 2-yard line, I was like, why would that be frustrating? What do you mean? I guess we're just built a little different. Some of us have gone through war training and that because that did happen to Iowa this weekend. The Kirby Smart thing annoyed the shit out of me because just back off. Just be chill. Just let it happen, okay? Guess what? We're in the Cheez-It overtime rules now, okay? There is no God. There is no plan. It's all out of your hands, Kirby. I think the timeouts irritate me a lot, but I think as an equal level, the walk back and forth, why are we doing that?
So funny.
I get it. People are like, well, the field conditions and whatnot, where I'm like, doesn't matter that much. That's going to make the game end faster if the field conditions are. You're welcome.
Cheez-It was the big winner of the weekend.
They were.
For sure, because of that whole thing. Trying to explain. I mean, a lot of people were, with their parents or family this weekend for Thanksgiving, trying to explain the new overtime rules to my mom. I would like that time back. I would like to have it back. Also, trying to explain it to Brent Key, good luck. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what the rules are. No one knows what
He
the
doesn't
rules.
need
Jed
to.
Fish probably still doesn't know what the rules. No one knows what the rules are. I was pretty frustrated watching that though because I did think that Georgia Tech got away with a few pretty bad calls in regulation, and Georgia got away with a few bad calls.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech gave up a huge lead, and it just crumbled in their hands, and I felt bad for them. But at the same time, I'm like, Brent Key, dial up one play, score the 2 points, let me go to bed. And he couldn't do it, and he didn't know the rules.
No, it was tough, but it was still a lot of fun. The whole time I was watching it, I thought, oh my God, I'm so grateful my favorite team is not playing in this game right now. Oh my God, I could not be happier.
I would be throwing up, and just like when I saw the flag planting, which, by the way, there was an attempted flag planting at Texas A&M. Didn't work. Sark said, get your butts in the locker room.
Thank you.
I'm not here for that. And you know what? Good for you, Sark. That's
King
good
of
coaching.
morality.
He should get like the opposite of a fine. They should pay him. The conference should pay him a bonus for that.
They'll say, hey, we're gonna ban horns down for one game, and now you're equal. Now you're good.
Well,
hey, here's one canister of trash. You throw it when you want. No questions asked.
Horns down is what led us to this mess. But yeah, were you surprised at how big of a dud the Texas A&M game was? I kind of thought there'd be like a little offense from Texas A&M, but no, it sputtered all the way to the end for them.
I was not surprised. I think Texas was sort of in a weird situation where they just kind of got the benefit of not having to play anybody but Georgia, and they lost to Georgia, but I never quite doubted how good Texas was. And I also think it's very like Texas and A&M haven't played since 2011, so it's been quite a long time, but these schools hate each other a lot. A&M hates Texas more than Texas hates A&M. I want to make that very clear, but there's a lot of hatred between these two schools. So I expected A&M to play a little bit better, but I thought Texas was a lot better. I thought Texas was a lot more talented. I thought after blowing a dud to Auburn, I lost a lot of faith in ATM after that, but like, this was an incredibly dominant performance by Texas. It just didn't really seem like that because ATM's defense was able to show up in certain situations and get points on the board, but like their offense didn't do. Texas could very well be the best team in the country right now, and I have a pretty good feeling they'll beat Georgia this weekend.
Ooh, you have them winning the rematch. I think that
I do.
Texas A&M losing 3 of their last 4 really stings for what was, up until that point, a really good first year for Mike Elko at Texas A&M.
It still is.
Yeah, I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I think it just sort of like, if you lose the 3 games earlier in the season, it probably feels better finishing out strong versus like I think the Auburn loss was brutal for them. But they'll figure it out. Wigman's in the portal. They've been dealing with that Lucy, is he going to go to Iowa? They've been dealing with
he's
that.
listed it as one of his options.
Well, let us know when you get the scoop.
It's not happening.
They've just been struggling on that side of the ball all season, and unsurprisingly, their defense has been a lot better because Mike Elko's very good at that kind of stuff. And I don't know. We'll see what happens next year. I think they'll be good again. I think they're a solid team, but Texas was just better, and now Texas will be playing for the coveted bye in the college football playoffs. Before we talk a little bit about college conference championship weekend, that is, do you have any like ranking reaction hot takes? Because we've been doing a lot of playoff talk this week on the Le Batard Show. If you've already let it all out, that's fine. But if you got a take, let me hear it.
I don't have a Miami related take. You're welcome, everybody, for that. I do think that Alabama at 11 doesn't quite sit right with me. I kind of think that South Carolina is a little bit more deserving, just considering the way the two teams have played as of late. And South Carolina does have a blowout loss to Ole Miss. Alabama has a blowout loss to Oklahoma. Those are 2 very, very different football teams. One of those is like damn, well, the other one was like, burn it all to the ground. We have to start from scratch. So I don't love Alabama at the 11th spot. I think it's not shocking to me that, like, I hate to be like, biases and the media machine or whatever. I don't think it's that, but I do think that if the college football playoff had the opportunity to put Alabama in the playoff, they were going to do it no matter what. And I don't like them at that 11th spot. I don't think that they deserve to be there. And I put it all on that Oklahoma loss, which was incredibly bad.
Yeah, I think the Oklahoma loss does suck a lot, but not as bad as a Kentucky loss, which I think sort of disqualified Ole Miss, even though they also have a Georgia win. South Carolina, I think, has like a sort of legit gripe, except they lost to Alabama, so you can't put them in ahead of Alabama. But if Clemson does win the ACC championship game, South Carolina is going to be like, what the hell, guys? We're the hottest team at the end of the season. Our quarterback, Lenore Sellers, is electric. He's awesome. He had a crazy fourth quarter against Clemson. Everyone wants to see this in the playoff, right? Well, wrong. The committee doesn't. But that's kind of what it's going to come down to for them, and I think that stinks too.
Yeah, it's just tough because, like, we all sort of believe in the transitive property of college football in the sense of, like, okay, well, you beat them and they're better than you. But I look at teams like South Carolina who are so completely different now than they were in September when they played Alabama, and Alabama who's gotten significantly worse. It's just tough because, like, I genuinely believe that if South Carolina and Alabama played right now, that game would play out differently. And it also wasn't a type of loss where, like, Alabama beat the South Carolina. South Carolina had it till the very end of that game. Like, it was just a drive that didn't end the way they wanted it to. And so I would put South Carolina in above Bama and Ole Miss.
And Sellers was hurt earlier this season. He was coming off an injury.
And like my whole thing is, like, teams change so much throughout the course of a season, and games change so much. And you're, like Florida. Starting off, I hate to bring in Miami and Florida, that wasn't a strong. If Miami and Florida played right now, that game would go incredibly differently. Florida is a much improved team. Their defense has gotten better. DJ Lagway has gotten better. That's a different team than week one. All of these teams are different than week one. So it's just hard and whatever.
Well, I would say
Iowa wasn't even close. It doesn't matter.
Notre Dame's the same as week one, but they're different than week two. But then they're the same as weeks 3 through 14. Taylor said this in my ear, but he's true. He's absolutely right. Indiana, the big winner of this past weekend. Indiana, you got 11 wins. Actually, same with Notre Dame. You got 11 wins. Guess who doesn't have 11 wins? Most of the rest of college football. That was the threshold for Miami. Just win 11 games and you're in the conference championship. And even if you lose, it doesn't matter. The committee has said we're not going to punish teams for losing. And that's what the rankings are. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Do the conference championship game, do they count or do they not count? Like, does losing the game count? Does winning the game make the teams that beat you that season better than you think they are now? Are they part of the season? Are they not part of the season? What is the point of them? I don't know. My team's not in a conference. I don't understand conferences. Maybe we should just get rid of the conference championship game. I don't need it. Do you need it? I like the Dr. Pepper challenge. That's all I like about it.
Oh, I miss legends and leaders. Bring back fun, weird divisions, and then you got me back for conference championship games. But, like, if it doesn't, like, it means something. It means something because then you get a bye. But it also, Oregon now loses to Penn State, which I don't think is going to happen. But, great, now you no longer have a bye, even though you're the best team in college football all year. Doesn't make any sense. Everything, and also, like, the way the bracket would play out, if Oregon does win, they get a bye, but they get the winner of, like, the Ohio State regional or whatever in the first round. That doesn't seem fair.
I've seen, like, a bunch of college football fans argue about, like, who should be the 5 seed, who should be the 6 seed. I'm like, you don't know what seed you want to be. Like, you want to host a game if you're in the first round, but you could be the 5 seed and play Alabama, or you could be the 8 seed and play, like, Boise or something. Like, probably not Boise, because if they win, I think they're probably going to get a bye based on where they've been ranked. But you know what I mean? You could get Indiana, for example. Yeah. So a lot of things still need to play out for that. But yeah, Lucy, while we're being haters, let's just do a quick dance, little hee 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 ha ha ha, because once again, Miami has not won the ACC. SMU has the shot to win it in their first year in the ACC, which I find so fun. Danny GQ, I'm sorry. Don't. This is not personal, but man, I find that kind of hilarious. This was their best shot. They have Cam frickin' Ward. Like, they were really good this year.
They didn't play SMU or Clemson, and they didn't make it in.
But you know what? I'll have a shirt to remember this Miami season forever, because one of the Calgorithm friends that I made this season, he sent me this shirt, Lucy, from the Cal-Miami game. The best game of the year, in my opinion. The game that I stayed up way past my bedtime to watch, where Miami did come back and win, but Cal, they put up a fight. It was so much fun. It was one of the best games of the year. It was so great. I can't wait to wear this shirt every night forever.
Oh, that's so sick.
Thank you, Chris Hadaway, from the Calgorithm. All right, before we go, conference championship weekend. We've got so many big games. We've got Boise State and UNLV. Great rematch. UNLV's got a real shot at winning and making the playoff. We've got Tulane and Army. Army and Tulane. I mean, Army being the ranked American Conference champion. Should they be in the playoff, Lucy? I don't know. We've got your favorite team, Iowa State. By the way, this is all Iowa's fault for letting Iowa State into this game.
What? We didn't do.
I know it's not a conference.
And the person who did, he's gone now. See you later, brother. Get a job.
We both think ASU is going to win, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't feel that Arizona State's best receiver is out. I do think Arizona State's going to win, but I actually think this is going to be a pretty competitive game. They're ranked, 15, 16, so it's the closest ranked matchup between the two. I'm not confident.
I'm not confident either. It's a Big 12 game. Anyone can win. Kansas might win this game. I don't know.
Yeah,
what if Kansas State or Kansas or like Colorado showed up and won? I don't think anyone would say anything. We'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. This league is ridiculous. You picked Texas to beat Georgia.
I feel pretty confident in that too.
I'm going to take Georgia. But
explain. The way, like we kind of talked about it a little bit, the way Carson Beck played against Texas, he hasn't played like that since. Carson Beck has been bad for the last few months. I think he's sort of fixed the turnover itch a little bit more than it was really bad a few weeks ago. He kind of fixed it against Tennessee. Carson Beck is trending the wrong way, and I think Texas is trending the right way. Also, figure out how you want to use Arch Manning. Figure out what your whole dealio there is. But I think that Texas is going to win. I think losing a game like that is sort of a wake-up call. I think Texas has only gotten better since, and I don't necessarily think Georgia's gotten better since.
Texas also gotten a little bit more banged up since, so I'll put that out there. But I don't know. I could see it going either way. It's going to be a great weekend. I think we both have Oregon. I think SMU could beat Clemson. I think everyone's assuming Clemson's going to win. I wouldn't assume that. Clemson's looking bad.
I was not assuming that at all.
Every good team they've played. So
Clemson winning is funny, but I don't want it.
Orange britches game. I think they wear orange pants for championships. So yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
Dabo making it into the playoff and getting a bye after the season Clemson has had would be, man, everyone would want to cancel the 12-team playoff by next year. Except for Clemson fans, obviously.
Yeah, I think he even said, he's like, we could be the first 3-loss national championship. Shut your mouth. Hush.
He's so
Zip
funny.
It.
Oh,
that's
but
enough.
Also the worst. Oh my God, what a weekend. This is one of the best rivalry weekends of all time.
Ever.
I'm 100% saying that because Notre Dame won by like 2 touchdowns and 2 pick sixes back-to-back against USC. But I'm also saying it because of Ohio State and Michigan and all the chaos and the flag planting. And man, this is me clutching my pearls. Don't do it again, guys. It was so terrible.
Iowa had 5 first downs and 1. That's why I'm saying it.
Oh, so good.
That's real football.
This is real football, and this is Gen CFB. We'll see you next week to recap conference championship weekend. And hey, Lucy, I think the footy awards are coming up soon.
Oh my God. I hope all you Jennifers have a great weekend at conference championship, and I'll see you in Indy.
Go Bears.
What's up, everybody? It's Mike, and it's the holiday season. And the holiday season means family gatherings. You're going to be hosting your family, opening up your doors to, let's face it, potentially some problems. There's always family disagreements and things up for debate. Well, let me tell you something that's not up for debate. The great taste of Miller Lite. In these polarizing times, it's good to have something that we can find general consensus on, and that is that beautiful white can, Miller Lite. Is awesome. It makes any time a Miller time, and it's got tastes that you know that you can depend on. A beer that is brewed for people who actually like the taste of beer. And let's not forget simple ingredients and the fact that Miller Lite is only 96 calories, folks. That's right, and just 3.2 grams per 12 ounces. Making memories at year-end gatherings, I ask you? Well, make those memories taste like Miller time. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan and find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.